All right, here we go again. I just mumbled for like 10 minutes and it wasn't even recording. So yeah, in this video, we're going to be sculpting this skull right here that you're seeing. This planar, stylized, whatever skull you look, but whatever you want to call it, in 30 minutes or so. And yeah, you may ask, why am I so sure that it's going to be exact? It is because this is the result and I'm recording this intro afterwards. Also, I just wanted to share a word of caution. That is that if you clicked on this video thinking that, oh, this is such a cool skull, let me just try to follow along this tutorial and make it. It's not going to work, bro. The reason it's not going to work is because you're making this because it looks cool. You think that, oh, this is stylized skull, it's going to be easier, or it just looks cool, let me try it. But if you don't know how to make a generic skull, this is not going to work. I don't hear a lot of artists talking about this, and instead they use this as a bait of, oh, stylized characters, let me show you how to make stylized characters. Stylized characters don't work unless you understand the basics first. And also you're going to see this in the tutorial, all right? I make the basic skull first and then I proceed to stylize it. Because if you try to stylize this from the get-go, it's not going to work. You're going to struggle. You're going to struggle very bad. And this is evident by if you look at caricatures, all right? If you look at these caricatures, you can identify that this is Chris Rock. Is it Chris Rock? I hope I'm not pronouncing the name wrong. Oh yeah, this is Chris Rock, maybe. But yeah, you can identify. This is Will Smith, all right? This is The Rock. You can identify. This is Brad Pitt. And if you've ever tried making portraits, you know that moving a feature just an inch up, an inch down completely loses likeness. Then how are these artists able to do this? They are able to do this because they understand this is messy. They are able to do this because they understand the fundamentals. They understand real life. They know which feature can I exaggerate, which feature can I not exaggerate. This is Amitabh Bachchan. You can see so many caricatures. Obama. I don't know who this is. And what else? Billie Eilish, right? So you get the point. Similarly, if you're trying to make a stylized skull, stylized face, stylized body, whatever, if you don't know the fundamentals, if you don't know real life, you're going to struggle. And by no means is this me trying to make you click off this video or to scare you off. No, not at all. The reason I made this tutorial is so that I can show you that it's so much easier to stylize this once you have a generic skull, because that is the procedure that I use in this video as well. And if you're struggling with the basics, if you're struggling with understanding the skull, then you can click the first link in the description. It's going to bring you to my school where you will find other like-minded artists who are all interested in sculpting, and you will also get access to this classroom section where you can find this course. Inside the course, I will show you a step-by-step guide on how to make a skull, faces, the different body parts of the face, and then you can also see the result of the students inside. All right? They are getting results because it's so simple. I cut out all the fluff, all the unnecessary bullshit advice that you don't need, because and you're going to learn it without remembering the names. Oh, the zygomatic bone, the cranium, the whatever, mastoid or whatever. You don't need to know it. So yeah, this is just a simple step-by-step, an easiest, a fast lane to learning how to sculpt. And once you understand that, following this tutorial is going to be a piece of cake for you, I promise you. Or stylizing any other piece is going to be a piece of cake because you already know the fundamentals. And all you need to do is to stylize. Simple. So yeah, without any further ado, enjoy the video. Goodbye. Good luck. Okay, so before we start sculpting, let's just make a mental concept, a mental mind map of how we're going to sculpt this. The process is super simple. It's super simple. What we're going to do is we're going to make a generic looking skull. And then after that, we're going to add all of these character lines, these sharp lines, these planes. It's going to look so simple. If you're starting out, I'm assuming that you clicked on this video because you thought, oh, this is such a cool skull. Let me see how to make this. Then let me remind you that you need to understand the basics first. All right, you need to know how to make a generic skull first. And also, this is not the best reference because it is just a quarter view. It's not the front view or the side view. So yeah, for that, we're going to be using these references. Where is this? Yeah, this reference to make a generic looking skull. And where can you get this reference from? Oh, you don't share this reference. Oh, just head on here, click the first link in the description. You're going to get access to this whole head sculpting course. And you're going to get the skull model, the 3D model, the references, everything is going to be there. All right. So first of all, yeah, I just wanted to tell you that the process of making any stylized sculpt, whether it be a face, whether it be a skull, whether it be body, You need to know of real life first. You need to know of the basics first. Once you have the basics, you can add these character lines like I'm going to show it to you. It's going to be so simple. And I think I should pin this reference here somewhere so that I can show you my reasoning. Although I don't really like doing it because, oh my god, let me use the mouse for this. I don't really like doing it because I like having my references on a separate screen. It just gives me a better result. It works better for me because I feel that when I'm tilting my head a lot, it just refreshes my vision a bit, if that makes sense. All right. But yeah, for the sake of this tutorial, I pin this right here. All right. So we're going to make this generic looking skull and then we're going to add these character lines. It's going to be so simple. So simple, bro. All right. And yeah, if you're struggling, just go click the first link in the description, join the school, and you'll get the free course. It's there for you, waiting for you. All right. So let's pull this from the center and try to get some sort of a helmet shape. Also, this is a male skull. For that, we need a thicker chin, a wider chin. All right. And then we're going to push it from here. Just make it look like a face, a basic, this shape, whatever you want to call it. Now from the side view, what we want to do is we want to make this jaw area. You can see my mouse, right? Try following my mouse. We want to make this jaw shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it behind like this. Also a basic proportion for the skull, not always, but it's a good guideline, is that the skull fits inside this box. Almost. Okay. Mine is a bit longer. Yeah, it's totally okay. Also, if you see over here, this round part of the skull, it's almost half the entire height. All right, so we'll push this up right here. And we'll make it a bit blocky because that is how a male skull is. It's fairly blocky. It's not super round like this. No, it's blocky. All right. So yeah, we're gonna make this jaw shape. And once we have this, let's just remesh. Let me see it from the front. Also, a very underestimated angle for the skull is the top view. Right? From the top view, it should look like this egg shape. It gets wider as it goes behind. Right? And we want to have that in our sculpt as well. Okay? It gets wider as it goes back and it's thinner in the front. Also, the widest area is right here. Right? So when you're looking from the top view, you should be looking at this area. Okay? A very common mistake is people either make the widest area here, or they make it here. It's no. It's right here. And once we have this shape, simply let's just remesh, press Ctrl R so that we have more geometry to work with. Now let's go to the draw brush. Let me expand this so you can read the names. And if I forget to call out the name, you can just read it over here. All right. Let's remesh this once. Let's smooth this very gently. And now let's make the eyes. Where are the eyes? The eyes are always, I'm adjusting this just ever so slightly. Yeah. Okay. The eyes are always going to be in the center. Okay. So this is the center. We're going to make the eyes right here. We're going to make a very generic skull. All right. And from the side view, what I want you to note is that the skull has this dip right here in front of the eyes. So let's account for that. Let's make this dip. And let's remesh again. Let's also add more geometry. So we have more geometry to work with, more things to make. And then we want to make this temple line. So just dig right here, dig right here. Yeah, make this temple line. Now, this is actually super deep, but I'm also accounting for the fact that we're making this skull, right? So we're not going to go to this detail. Of course not. We're just going to use this as a guideline for a generic skull. That's it. We're going to look at the main blockouts, the main forms, the main features, and then we're going to turn it into this. right? Just adding these features in, and I'm keeping it real time. This tutorial is real time so that you can follow along if you want to, which you should. Follow along, bro. All right. And also so that I can explain my exact thoughts or the observations I'm making. Now we want to make this bump on the forehead. This bump. How do we make it? Just use the draw brush and make this inverted C shape, the crescent shape, moon shape, whatever you want to call it, and then just simply smooth. And as you can see, I am super low poly. All right. And this is the approach that you want to have as well. We will only add detail when it is necessary. All right. Otherwise, we won't add the detail. We try to squeeze out as much as we can, and only then do we go to the next level. We make more, add more problems to our life, add more geometry. You want to know that the less geometry we have, the less things we have to move around, the less problems we have to deal with. So this is a good approach. Let's use the clay strips brush. And now we're going to make this cavity right here. Okay, if you notice, we have this cavity over here. Oh man, this tool, it doesn't really work the best with the tablet. So let me switch to my mouse, which is super annoying, but yeah, anyways. You see this cavity right here? We need to have this cavity as well. You can also see it over here in the reference, in the generic skull, right? We have this cavity. Also, let me look at it. Yeah, see, we have this cavity. So now we want to make this cavity. How are we going to do it? We're just simply going to use the clay strips brush. Let me switch back to the graphic tablet. And what we're going to do is we're just going to dig right here to make this cavity. Super easy. All right. Just make this cavity right here. And then gently smooth. So sculpting is going to be a lot of adding the features and then smoothing it in, right? Add this right here. And now what we want to make is this cheekbone. So you see, we have another super big cavity right here. So just dig here and also push all of this behind. Because if you notice, the bone of the jaw, it actually starts quite inside the face. So this is the outer line. We have this whole cavity right here, and then we have the cheekbone. So it starts quite in. Let's move it in as well. And yeah, right here is the widest part of the cheek, and everything else after this, it falls behind. So remember to push this in, right? Just push it in gently. This is the part, the furthest part. Looking nice. Always make sure to check it from the bottom and from the top. We have a lot of curvatures. We don't want this ever to be super flat, because if your sculpt looks like this, yeah, you're not heading into a good direction. All right. Yeah, just make sure we have proper curvatures. Make sure to check it from the top, from the bottom. These are really underestimated areas. Angles too, we use sculpt. Let's go to the front view again and let's make it flat, like we can see over here, we can see over here. And yeah, a super important check to make for the sculls is when you go to the bottom view, make sure that this is straight, it's linear. All right, because a very common mistake is that some people, they make it super wobbly. You don't want to do that. These are bones, they are straight, super straight. All right, so you want to make sure that they are linear. And also for a male sculpt, it's super blocky. By the way, all of these differences, they are covered inside the course as well. So if you're struggling with skulls, just go ahead, watch the course. It's going to give you a good foundation to start, and it's going to make this tutorial a piece of cake for you. Let's look at the cheekbone. It looks all right. Now let's add the detail for the nose. For that, now we need more geometry. So just press R, decrease this number, press Ctrl R, right? And where is the nose? The nose almost starts midway this eye socket. All right, almost midway. You can see over here. This is almost midway. And remember, these proportions, they are never set in stone. I feel that the eyes are a bit too small, even looking at the reference. So I'm just going to make them a bit bigger. All right. Also, if you're in the front view, always make sure to move your camera around and have your focal length at, oh, I'm sculpting at 50. So yeah, make this 99.9. Okay, it's the perfect focal length to sculpt with. What a blunder. I thought it was a bit skewed. I usually use the file, a template that I have saved, but I didn't realize that the template was saved at 55. What a bummer. Okay, now let's make this cavity right here. For that, we're just going to use the draw sharp brush, dig in right here. Draw sharp is a super aggressive digger. All right. Yeah, you can dig really, really deep with this. Now, once we have this cavity, let's just flush it out with the clay strips brush. You can use any brush that you want, any brush that you're comfortable with. The main thing is that we have these features. All right. The brushes, they don't really matter. What matters is understanding of why are we doing this. Now let's make the nose. For the nose, yeah, almost halfway, right? So let's dig here. And how long, deep? Yeah, I think we would call it deep. How long is the nose? If you look at this eyebrow region right here, and if you look at the bottom of the chin, it's almost halfway. So this is how long or deep the nose is going to be. So we're just going to dig it in. Right? And you can see a separation over here. We can't see a separation here in the main reference. So we won't make a separation at all. All right? We're following the main reference. Now, if you look at the main reference, you can see that this has a curvature right here. All right? This curvature. And if you look at the generic skull, you can see that it protrudes towards the top. It protrudes towards the end. And it's not present in our skull right now. So let's make it protruded from the top. Let's make this curve. Okay, and then it protrudes towards the end again. And you can see that we're starting to get a skull, a generic looking skull. And once we have the generic skull, it's so much easier to add these features. I promise you. You're going to be shocked. Really, really nice. Also, another thing that you can notice here is that the mouth area is bulked up. Let me switch to the mouse again. Here you see this curvature. I hope you can see it right here. This curvature. This shows that the mouth area is bulked up, and it is because we have teeth. They bulge out a bit. So let's account for that as well. Switching back to the graphic tablet. And yeah, we can just simply use a move brush to mark this area. And for this chin area, we can just use a draw brush and push this part in like this. Super, super easy. And once we push it in, just smooth, gently, very gently, smooth. All right. And you can see we have this basic looking skull. Now, one more thing before we proceed with adding the stylized things is that right here, you can see this cavity. You can see this cavity as well. So we want to make it as well. So just use the draw sharp brush, take this part in, bring it down all the way till here, then smooth. Okay. A common mistake is that you add the details and then you smooth over it. No. You add the details and then you smooth the excessive part out. Okay, that's going to keep this sharp area in. All right, because if you smooth over it, you're smoothing everything. So yeah, add these details and then smooth the excessive part out. It's a really quick win. All right, just straightening these things out. Okay, looking nice. just take a bit more. Also, we can hold control and pull this out, okay, just to sharpen it a bit. Looking nice. Let's add remesh, add more geometry. And looking from the side view, I can see this protruding outwards. So I'm going to do it as well. Okay, just trying to match this curvature right here. And yeah, to be honest, I'm making a skull after such a long time. I'm a bit out of practice. I'm gonna hold control and pull this part out, right? Just adjusting it according to the reference. And yeah, I think we can begin the stylizing process now. So we have this generic looking skull. And now all we need to do is to add these character lines. Right? Let's move this a bit. And how are we going to do it? There are many ways. You can either use the scrape brush to make these flat lines. You can use the draw sharp brush to bring out these sharp edges, or you can use the crease brush. I'm going to use a combination of different things and explain my reasoning as we proceed, right? This part is super thin, so I'm just bringing it close, like in the reference. And yes, let's begin the stylizing process. So let's just add a bit more geometry so that things are a bit smoother to work with. Let's protrude this a bit more because I can see it in the reference. And I think we're good to go. So I'm going to use the crease brush. First of all, we're going to make this bump on the forehead. So just use the crease brush, hold control, and that is going to pull this part out. And now for this crease below it, I'm just going to crease inside without holding control. And then we have this bump. Super easy. Now this part right here, right? How do we make it? Just hold control again and crease this. The same thing for the orbitals, right? We're just going to hold control and we're going to crease this. Same thing over here. Hold control and crease this. This part blends. I think what we can do as well is dig a bit here because I think, yeah, we can see some cavity over here. So let's dig a bit over here. Dig a bit over here. Just making a cavity in the places that we're going to crease. Yeah, hold the crease brush again, crease this together while holding control, because if you don't hold control, it's going to crease inside. If you hold control, it's going to crease outside. So we want to crease it outside. Same thing over here. We're just going to crease this. Let's crease this in because we can see it over here. Also, this has a bit of this N shape going on. Let's pick up the crease brush again. See the other places we can crease. We can crease right here. We can also crease this super long length. Let's move this down. You can see over here we have this super big crease. Also, it's curving like this. Let's hold the crease brush. Let's crease it. And yeah, you see, once we have the generic sculpt, the generic skull, it's just so much easier to add these corrector lines. We already knew what the skull looks like. And all we are doing is just adding these sharp edges where it needs to be. It's super easy. So this part, we can crease it here. Hold Control. And also make sure that this has a proper angle. Yeah, we want to have this plane change as well. Crease. Smooth. Yeah, don't smooth on the crease. Smooth on the excess part around it. Where else? Yeah, we can see a crease right here. Also, we can see this crease right here. How long did this take us? 23 minutes. Not bad. And yeah, I believe, right? You can try it for yourself. If you try making this sculpt again with, how should I say it? If you try to make this sculpt again, and from the get-go, you try to make these planes, you try to make these sharp lines, it's going to be so much more difficult for you. This method of stylizing stuff is so easy. And once we have these, I can spot some differences. For example, over here in the nose area, I think this can be deeper. Also, yeah, let's make the thickness for the nose first. So yeah, you can see it has some sort of thickness. Again, what we're going to do, maybe add a bit more geometry, so it's a bit more smoother. And then crease it outside, crease it on the inside, just to add in this thickness. Let's try to turn on shadows and see what we have. think we didn't capture this shape the best. Let's flatten this out using the smooth brush. Let's crease this again. I'm just smoothing this out so that we can make it again. Also, let's crease this temple line. I think we can, it's better if we scrape the side so that we can also account for the plane change. So scraping will like sort of tear or remove a bit of the curvature in this and give us a better result. Crease brush again. Let's also dig a bit here. Yeah, again, let's just pick the crease brush. Let's crease this in. Also, let's crease this out. Yeah, I'm really having this urge to just stop commenting, focus on this, and then do a time lapse and say, hey, this is what happened when I spent a bit more time practicing. But yeah, I just want to keep it raw, keep it simple. It's okay. Some sculpts, they do take time. Sometimes it's just not your day. And yeah, I don't think I know I haven't practiced skulls in a very long time. So maybe recording this tutorial wasn't the best idea. But yeah, the point that I wanted to share in this tutorial is just that when you have a generic sculpt, it's just so much easier to stylize it. And I think it's good enough. Yeah. Let's try shade smooth. Yeah, we have the wobbliness I was talking about. Let's make it straight. Yeah, I think this is fine. It's not the best, but considering the time that we spent, I think it's okay. Of course, we can spend more time refining it, but I think this is enough. Also for the face, I think this is the most that you need to understand the skull. What you need to understand is this, the top of the head. I think it's called the cranium, this round part. You need to understand this brow ridge when you're making a male sculpt. You need to understand the cheekbone area and the shape of the jaw. If you spend time making the teeth and doing other stuff, it's not necessary, bro. Yeah, I think this is nice. Not bad. Yeah. This is going to be straight. So yeah, I'll stop right here. And it looks nice. Also, if you're looking for courses on how to make heads, how to make skull, step by step, you can go right here. You can join in. You can see the result of the people inside right here. And yeah, you can also see that whenever we make stylized sculpt, it is because we focus on the essentials first. I think this is done better than mine. Really nice. It's because these courses, they are based, focused on the basics. And once you have those basics, you can apply them anywhere. You can see we studied generic faces and then we add those stylized features right here. I think this took me 38 minutes to do right here. And yeah, it's a pattern. Okay, so if you focus on the basics first, it's just so much easier to stylize. And go ahead, try it yourself. If you try it from the get-go and making these planes, making these sharp lines from the get-go, it's not going to work. It's going to be much more difficult for you. Can I pinch this together? I think I should stop spending more time, bro. Because the longer I'm going to see this, the more mistakes I'm going to find, the more areas I'm going to improve. So yeah, I'll end the tutorial right here. Good luck. And yeah, hope to see you inside the school. Goodbye.